Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the series, yet another inventory series, but wait, part 6. In today's episode we are going to be continuing with our inventory system, and the last time we left it where we had all of our items laid out here, our message system working, it's telling us E. We can press E, it gives us a message, tells us what we've picked up, depending on the item we've picked up. But at the moment, they don't go anywhere, they just delete them. So today we're going to start making the core of the inventory system so that we can actually put them somewhere. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to use what's called an actor component. So in our blueprints folder, we're going to make a new folder called components. I've done this previously because I already made this video once. So make a folder called components. We're going to right click, add a blueprint class, and we're going to go to actor component. I'm just going to call this AC for actor component, and we're going to call it inventory. Nice and simple. Make sure we save. Okay, so what is a component? If we open up our player character for a moment, and we look at, no matter whether you're in the viewport or not, but we look at any of these are all components. Arrow component, capsule component, the message, they're all components, movement component. Yeah? And these are things that we can add to an actor character pawn, because they're all based from the actor class, to do a specific set of instructions. The good thing about a component is we can just add it to it, change a few settings that we want to make it work the way we want it to work, and we can use it and access it to the actor that we have put it on. So let's add it. We've made our component, so we're going to add it, and we're just going to click add, and we're going to say inventory, and we're going to see our AC inventory, and it adds a component. You can rename it, so if you want more than one inventory on your player, you can do that. You could say one is player slots, the other could be weapon slots, so on and so forth. However you want to continue to use this inventory system in the future. And they will all act as independent inventory systems. One thing to remember about components, go back to our blueprints, our component, try not to have hard references to a particular actor in a component, because it then restricts it to mainly being used by that actor. So in other words, if I had, okay, this is first, because a YouTube character, we've got hard references to the YouTube character in there, it's not a good practice to do. So we try to keep references out, and we only have stuff in here that is relevant to ourselves. Same with like UI, you don't want it to be inventory UI, because it ties it up to a particular UI. So we handle them in different ways. So in our component, we're just going to add a couple of variables to start with. The first variable we're going to call content. And we're going to call this our item struct down here, and we're going to make sure it's instant editable so that we can change it within the character. Now, just for making it easier for when we see, we're going to go to where it says category here. We're going to put our own category in. We're going to call it inventory. Put it in its own category. Now, this is a single variable. We want more than one. Content can have as much. So we're going to make this into an array. And if people are not sure what an array is, imagine an array as like the old-fashioned pigeonhole boxes or sets of mailboxes in apartment blocks where you have a block that's numbered from 0 to whatever. The thing to remember about arrays is that the indexing always starts at 0, it doesn't start at 1, so take that in mind. So if you've got 20 boxes, it will go from 0 to 19. And all we're going to do is we're going to manipulate data within our pigeonhole structure. So the next variable we're going to make is we're going to call it max inventory slots. This is how many slots we're going to have. So we're going to change this to become an integer. We don't want it to be an array, we only want it single, but we do want to expose it. We're also going to put it in our inventory category. Now that we've already added it, you can pick it from the list. Now if we go back to our character where we added it, we click on our inventory component. We look down here, we see inventory. We've got content, 0 array elements, and we've got max slots. So this is where we can choose how big or small our inventory is for our player. You may want it at maximum of 5 slots if it's something like a hotbar, or you may want to be able to change the amount of slots that your inventory has if you pick up an upgrade or whatever. So by putting it as a variable in here, we can change this. Okay. And we're going to set this for here to 20. Okay. We're not going to do anything with the content at the moment because we're having this as a dynamic inventory. Later when we go to drag and drop, we can set a set amount here. We can actually add empty slots or whatever we want to add. But for now we're going to leave it at that. And we're going to now make our very first component function within our inventory component. And we're going to show you, I'm going to show you that it works. So let's go to functions. We're going to add a new function. We're just going to call this basic add item. Okay, we need an input into here, and the input is going to be item, and it's going to be our item struct. Very simple. Now, we could quite easily drag in our content, this is the way it has its own set of functions, and just say add. Because this is an array of item structs, this will link this up. We could do this. Nothing's stopping us. It will work. But it doesn't take into account how many slots are in our inventory. And therefore, it will just continuously adding to the content. So if you pick up 1,000 items, you'd have 1,000 entries in your inventory. Which may be fine for certain games where you just want to add the same thing. That's fine. It doesn't matter, you know, it all depends on your game. But for the way we're going to work this and with the systems that we already have in place, we're just going to take in mind our max inventory slots. So we're going to drag that in, get that. We're going to drag our content in and get that. So we want to know how long is this, and Unreal has a function for arrays called length, and that gets the length of the array. If you actually hold it over, it says get numbers of items in an array. doesn't care about indexes, so this will give the exact amount. So if we've got 1, it will say 1. If we've got 0, it will say 0. If we've got 20, it will say 20. First, so what we're going to say is this less than the amount of max slots. So remember in that player we added that to 20. So if this is less than 20 long, we can actually add to it. So that we're going to drag up here, B for branch, through. Now we need some form of feedback to the player or to the system that this has worked. So we're going to add a return node. Return node. And on the return node, we're going to have 2 outputs. First one, we're going to call success. And that's just going to be a basic Boolean. And the second one, we're going to call reason. We're going to use this as I think we call it inventory result. Okay. So let's look at our code. We've gone through here. It says, okay, we have less than 20 items in our array. So it's true. So we can say this is success, and we can choose success from our reason. Remember, this is a enum we made quite early on. Let's copy and paste that. And we're going to join it to the false. Obviously, it failed, so we're going to click uncheck the success box. And then we're going to say why. Okay, so in this case, we're checking the size. And we're going to say your inventory is full. Okay, and this will give feedback to the player on how this works. Okay, so let's implement this and see it working, and I'll show you a little bit of debug code that we can do to just display what we have in our inventory. So let's, first of all, where are we going to do this? Well, if you remember, we made in our blueprints folder, our parent blueprint, we made a game item parent, and that's where we're going to do it. In the do something, when we actually going to pick it up. Okay, I'm going to drag this off. At the moment, we've got gives a message on the screen and destroys the actor. We still want that, so we're going to keep it, but we're going to change it instead. So now we're going to want to access our inventory component. Well, in this case, it's quite easy because we know it's on the player character. So we say get player character, and then get component by, so get component by class. Be careful, there's 2, get component and get component. We want get component singular, not plural, because we only want 1. Now, again, if your system is something that you want to put it in different inventories, then you will have to adjust the code. We're going to look for our inventory component. And now you see the output is of an inventory reference type. So we can now access anything we've got in our inventory component. So we can drag off here and we're going to say basic add item. This is the function we just wrote. We're going to connect that up. Item going to be the item data from here. Okay. Now from success here, we're going to drag it, get a branch. If it's successful, We can go ahead, quite happily do this. And this is where this reason comes into place. If it's not successful, what we're going to do is we're going to copy these 3 nodes here, paste them down here, and we're going to join false. What are we going to put in here? The reason, we're going to put to start text. We don't need any other highlighted text or anything like that. We still want it in the top because that's where we want to add the message. We want it in the bottom, middle, whatever, that's up to you. So if we look at the code, we're going to pick up the item. If we're successful, it's going to give us a message saying we've picked up whatever it is we've picked up, which will stay on the screen for 2 seconds. The actor also will be destroyed. If we fail, it's going to give us a reason, and the reason that came out of here, remember when fail we put inventory full, and it will display inventory full for 2 seconds, and it will not destroy the actor because obviously we don't pick it up. So let's see if this works. I'm going to hit play. We're going to go down to our items, all the way down here, go up here and pick up these first. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're still picking up our items there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We need to get up to 21. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We can still pick up 20 items. And now let's go for the next one, which will be 21. Your inventory is full, the item still stays there. So our pickup or add item is working, and our messages system is working well. How do we know they are actually in the inventory? So what I'm going to do is show you a little bit of debug code. So we're going to go to our player, event graph, and we haven't used it yet. So we're going to go IA underscore toggle inventory. Make sure you get one, again, that's the event. And just to show that we do have an item, our items in our inventory, we're going to drag in the inventory, drag off here and get the content. And this is just for debugging and checking. We're going to go through here, we're going to say for each loop. So we're going to look through every slot in the inventory. We're going to break this start. And we're going to get from here item name. And then we're going to say print text, item name. I'm going to give it a bit of a bright color so we can see it on camera here, and for 5 seconds just so give us a little bit of time to see it. So let's show you that working and show you that we are actually adding stuff to the inventory. So if I actually click my tab key now, nothing happens. We don't see any debug code in the top left. Nothing's happened. So let's go ahead and pick up just one item to start with. Picks up a can. I click my tab key. You see can of drink. Okay. And this now will list every item we have. So if I click it again now, it should have can of drink 4 times. And here, again, we've got first aid kit 4 times, can of drink 4 times. So we know that they are actually going into our inventory, which is great. So at the moment we've added our component, we've added a simple function, we've implemented the function in our pickup, and we've done a quick bit of debug code to check that they are actually being added successfully to our inventory. We also did a test and make sure it does register the correct amount in there so that our inventory can be full. Before we go though, there is one thing I would like to do, and that is in our inventory components. I'm just double checking my reference. Is that we want to pass on an index of where the item is when we add it. Okay, and this is really for later on when we come to use it, but let's add it now. And all we do is we get our content. Very care when it's actually successful. We do a get, and we choose to get a reference, which means we can actually change what is here rather than just a copy, which just gives us information. And you see it's got the little diamond shaped connection. Drag off of here, and we're going to set members in item struct. We're going to join that in. And we're going to click on here. We go to here to default categories, and we're going to choose index. And the index we're going to use is here. So basically, this will set this index variable inside of our item struct. And you'll see where we'll use that later on in the game. Okay. And I'm going to call it there today. Today's a little bit shorter. And in the next one, we will make a UI so that we can display, instead of using the print text that we just did, we can display the correct information in a UI and make it look a bit pretty. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and if you really like my work, please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee. Every little help is appreciated. Bye-bye.